Hi and welcome to India's number one construction podcast, BuildMate Podcast.
Hi and welcome to India's number one construction podcast, BuildMate Podcast. आज मेरे साथ स्ट्रक्चरल इंजीनियर विनीत जैन साहब हैं. He is a veteran structural engineer and he specializes in rehabilitation of building structures. Sir, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time and patience with us. आज थोड़ा सा टेस्टिंग हो गया पूरा सिचुएशन हमारी आपके साथ अभी तक. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Rishabh, for inviting me at such a, I would say, innovative platform.
No, thank you so much, sir.
Specifically for building material structures and all these things.
Thank you so much, sir.
Related to that field.
Would you please introduce yourself?
Myself, basically a graduate civil engineer from 1983.
Yeah.
From Delhi College of Engineering.
Yeah.
And from the day one when I entered my engineering, my basic, you can say, attraction was towards civil engineering during those days. I wanted to do something innovative in this field in my career. And at that time, you can understand this field was not
it was non-existent.
accepted, and no one would have accepted. At that time, ITs, computer science, these were the upcoming fields. So that, although I did it.
Yeah.
And then I qualified for Indian Engineering Service in the same year.
Yeah.
With a good ranking in All India ranking. And I joined the services also. And during the period of my joining and passing out, so I was with some private jobs also. Then I joined these services, and somehow, although for some people, most of the people, services are good, class A services.
Safe hota hai.
And it is safe, of course. But I took the risk of leaving these services. For serving a very short period of time.
Okay.
And of course, that is before my marriage. That was a
शादी से पहले ही रिस्क ले सकते हैं, शादी के बाद तो नहीं ले सकते रिस्क. ठीक है.
I played. Against the wishes of my father also. He was also annoyed with me that my son, he passed it and this and then left the services.
And leaving a prestigious job.
At the time of the retirement, I would have been the chairman of one of the companies.
100%.
That's not
100%.
Then I started this construction company with the normal civil works. You can imagine for entering into that, I started with a very, very low profile. You see, I started with the very small work of the making the payments and all these things. Right. That was my starting point. Because I have to enter into this business. Then I was associated with mostly with the works of oil and gas industries. Like IOCL, GAIL, and all other companies, and did lot of projects for them in regards to petrol pumps, retail outlets, in regards to terminals, depots, right from the grassroots. You can say simply the barren land is there in the hills area also. Like Kullu, like Leh Ladakh. So that way, I did surveying of the land, doing all layout planning, and then doing all engineering services. For the execution also of some of them. And did some challenging jobs also in Kashmir. When the Kashmir was at a highest extremist stage. And after my immediate marriage, I visited some very critical situations in Kashmir. Against the wishes of my wife.
ये एक recurring pattern लग रहा है मुझे आपके अंदर, but that's amazing. How was your experience?
That is really a very working in Kashmir during those days when I went over there. One night I was just sleeping, and then with some officers over there in a transit camp. Then one night, because you see, when you sleep, your bed is below your sill level of the windows and all these things, no? Then the whole night there was firings for the night. I could not sleep that night. And even I could not come to just wake up like this and see the
see what
windows
is
just
happening.
because some bullet may hit me and something like that.
Baapre.
That was a very amazing
Tough
experience with
situation.
me.
Yeah.
It was a tough situation with me.
Mm.
Although I went over there.
Mm.
Then in the year 99.
Yeah.
During this period, I did a lot of structural engineering for some of the CPWD buildings, some DDA buildings.
Yeah.
And DDA was coming out during those days with Dwarka. So some of the housings were designed by me. And
Yeah.
that I did. Because that was my, you can say, the parallel or part-time business, as some people do in the services also.
I understand.
So that was my part-time along with my business.
Yeah.
During the night time, I used to do like that.
Okay.
That job. Then in the year 99, I just came across with the FRP
FRP systems.
Fiber reinforced polymer systems. And this is basically, it was not a new product, but was never used in the construction industry for
In India.
strengthening and all these things.
Okay.
It was being used in the aerospace industry earlier for so many years,
Yes.
like
Yes.
missiles, your rockets, aircraft. Nowadays, you will find some of the Boeings, they have got the wings of the carbon fibers.
Yes.
The
Yes.
components also, because
Absolutely.
it's lightweight and high strength.
Absolutely. Formula 1 cars. I watch a lot of Formula 1. Formula 1 cars के अंदर carbon fiber की body बनती है.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
because it's light, it's very sturdy, makes the car go fast.
Its strength is
very high.
Very
Yes.
high.
Mm.
It's basically weight is, you can say, 1/8 of the steel,
Yeah.
like that, no? And then with that FRP system, I understand I might be the first one to introduce in India.
Yeah.
Might be some others must have tried.
I'm pretty sure, sir, you were definitely one of the first people. Because उस time पर तो
we started from the Mumbai, because the coastal area is more vulnerable to this corrosions and all these things.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it is of course in Delhi and other areas, this is happening.
Yeah.
Because of poor quality of construction works and all these things. Then that particular building belonged to some telecommunication, and then exchange was there. And that was declared unsafe during the health assessment.
Yeah.
It was suggested that it should be dismantled, discontinued, and get the new one.
Yeah.
Somehow the people agreed to our presentations during those days, which was made by one of my known friends from overseas. Then they agreed to go for this particular system, because they also wanted that there should be some system which should be dust-free, high strength, and can work in a working telephone exchange.
Okay. So they didn't want to disrupt the operations, day-to-day operations.
It should not, the operation should not be disturbed.
Okay.
So that we started, and we did around, during those days, 7, 8 telephone exchanges in Bombay with using this technology. And if you, as far as the durability is concerned, you can assess that still they are running. After, you can say, 20 years, 21 years.
और टेलीकॉम तो उस टाइम पर सेल फोन्स नहीं होते थे.
At that time, cell phone.
This was a very crucial industry.
Cell phone was there, but very limited to very.
Right. So mainly काम telephones पे people were doing.
Exactly.
And it became a critical sort of a thing to rehabilitate those buildings.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we are successful, and now durability, as I'm talking, that 22 years, almost 22 or 23 years have gone, and fine. Still the things are existing.
Amazing. Very nice.
So that was the beginning, and since then I have, you can say, I take it as a surgery only, because it is my in my blood that I take this is all these structures as if they have got the life as a human being. That is why, as a doctor, do surgery on the human being, and that is why we do the surgery on.
So you're the doctor of buildings.
Yeah, you can say.
Amazing.
Surgeons.
Very nice. That actually clarifies a lot of things, right?
So that the same procedure is you can use.
Right.
That's why I have done, I think, more than 500, 600 projects since then. I don't remember the numbers also.
I'm sure. Yeah.
That way.
हो सकता है कुछ ज़्यादा ही हो वैसे.
Might be. I have not counted it. I have not
आप कम बता रहे हो.
I have not counted it. Yeah.
Amazing. Very
So
nice.
that is the thing which still working. I keep on doing something new, and that
Okay.
I do.
So then you got into rehabilitation of buildings?
Yeah, this is basically that was the beginning of my entering into the.
That's where you understood कि ये नए systems के साथ you can actually reinforce buildings.
It's not as I tell you, this is not a new system. It's of course the material was new to this industry.
Yeah.
Particular construction industry.
In industry.
But
And in India.
In India, but basically you see, our principles in engineering, you see, that remains the same.
Yes.
Whether because that has to be harmonized with your product and this thing and your design philosophy.
Yes.
So that is a common one with any of the products.
Absolutely.
So if you are clear about that, your philosophy, design philosophy, and all these things, then you can go ahead with any products in any approach of the retrofitting in a holistic way.
Science will be science. Logic will be logic.
Logics are there. If you do with that, it is there.
Awesome. थोड़ा सा, can you please guide us about? I know that you have this philosophy of 3 R's and you like to differentiate between them. Can you please tell us what those 3 R's are?
Yeah, 3 R's basically. It's first is your repair.
Yeah.
And second is your rehabilitation or standing, and third is your retrofitting.
Okay.
And 3 R's is like this. And this, as in repair, is, as you say, it's something. Some people, because of the lack of the knowledge, they do get it cosmetic repair, just picking some mysteries and masons or labor from the chalk and just going plaster and using their own common sense engineering, and they are getting it done.
Common sense engineering. I will remember that. That was good.
It's engineering, but with a common sense only.
Yeah.
Okay.
So repair is basically majorly surface based.
You can say it's a. We presume that strength might be lost or so very minutely. Some smaller cracks are there. But the main concern is that your structure elements or whatever your things are, they should have the density and serviceability and durability. These are to be maintained. No?
Okay.
And then comes your rehabilitation or standing, is that basically it is something you can say a distressed element and which has lost its strength.
Okay.
And design strength is something else.
Yeah.
Losing of strength is with the passage of time or with some bad concrete quality which has been done.
Yeah.
That bad concrete quality, I would say that nowadays you will be hearing about there are a lot of chloride, sulfates in waters, even the fine aggregates. I have handled about 5-6 projects in my past of this kind. That
chloride content was high in the fine aggregate?
Yeah, that is basically what happens. I saw in some of the projects that water, everyone says chloride, sulfates in the water. Everyone say because there's our IS 456 says what is the permission limits of construction water and all these things. But I found that in the fine aggregate also some chloride, sulfates, the chlorides are there. Because in generally what happens in construction, they simply test for fine aggregate for the sale content only.
Yeah.
That's something below 8%, that's okay then.
Yeah.
But no one thinks of that chlorides can go into that also.
So there's no chemical testing of these?
Yeah, that way. So some projects I have seen that in water was good, means RMC was good.
Yeah.
The plaster which has been done, it was carrying chlorides.
Okay.
So ultimately that will penetrate into the concrete surface and will damage the things like that. It is something I have seen that way.
In those cases, the strength of the building goes down over time.
Definitely, it will again develop the cracks.
Yeah.
So you can see it is basically cracks develops with either with this factor or seepage of water and all these things.
Yeah.
Then your steel reinforcement will get expanded with reinforced
Yes.
with your corrosion and all
Yes.
these things, and then slowly that it will, due to pressure, the concrete will start small cracks, then bigger cracks, then spalling of concrete, then losing of strength as well as the steel also.
In this case, we go for rehabilitation.
Then you will go for the rehabilitation.
Okay.
You have to again get the strength, is design strength back.
Okay.
The third one is your retrofitting, is basically when you, although this aspect is there,
Yeah.
what I told you in the your rehabilitation.
Yeah.
And then sometimes what happens that you have to enhance its capacity than the design capacity or design strength of the concrete.
Okay.
That also in some of the projects we have done, and in that case, that is we call it the retrofitting of the structures.
Okay.
This is
That covers your 3 hours.
something, more majorly that will differentiate you about
Okay.
all these things.
Okay. Sir, what is the necessity of building assessment या diagnostics जिसको हम कहते हैं building के लिए? What is the necessity of it?
Yeah, necessities you can say in the this construction works. I think there are three parts, three major roles of the you can say agencies and department, which has to be in harmony with each other. First is a structural engineer.
Yeah.
Second is your builder, contractor.
Yeah.
Who does it. And third is your owner or tenant who is using that particular structure.
Somebody who's going to maintain it later or use it later.
Like that. So in the first, if you come to the design stage, then the responsibility of structure is that how this, I am just now telling their deficiencies which may happen on their part.
Yeah.
Structural engineers, they may take wrong loadings while designing, wrong codal provisions, wrong material specifications.
Yeah.
And then, of course, ultimately all these designs are put on the drawings by the draftsman. There might be the draftsman mistakes also on the drawings. That is the one part.
Yes.
Then second one is your contractor.
Civil contractor.
Contractor is the execution part.
Yes.
In that, they are using wrong water. As I told you, the chloride, sulfate, wrong materials.
Yes.
And then during construction, they are not providing proper cover. After casting, they are not providing proper curing.
Yeah, there are XYZ, cement ratio.
Yeah, all these things.
Yeah.
They are all very big subjects.
Huge
It's a very separate field. A lot of to discuss. To discuss about what how it happens and all these things.
Yes. But these are some of the factors that may cause.
Quality control, I mean that quality control is also lacking over there. And of course, ultimately the onus of responsibility falls on the supervision part also.
Yeah.
Supervision of the structures. And then third one is the user. That is the service stage, you can say, when the structure is being used by the tenant or whatever the thing.
Yeah.
Or occupier. So that way, structure might be overloaded. Overloading as happens when some barat is going on and is balcony में गया और जितना लोड नहीं उससे ज़्यादा मतलब देख रहे हैं उसको कर रहे हैं तो या they are doing some parties in that which is
overloading the building beyond its capacity.
That is a temporary one.
Yeah.
And then second one is your change in usage also.
Yeah.
In that one you can say you have totally changed the usage of the floor.
For example, residential building being used for a commercial purpose?
Yeah, of course.
Maybe for a parking structure?
Parking. Sometimes what
so
happens...
we are parking inside our house.
Sometimes what happens, they provide that the podium also, your live load gets changed.
Yes.
And majorly we have handled the projects of in IT sector.
Okay.
Where the load of the battery rooms and it's quite heavy. So some of the buildings which are converted from commercial side to this IT sector, then the particular floor is to be designed for strengthen or existing floor to be designed or strengthened for that particular carrying the lateral.
Then retrofitting is required in those cases.
Retrofitting is required.
Okay.
So that way also, then
maybe in some industrial areas also, like when industry small and light going to a bigger, heavier machinery sort of
that,
a scenario.
of course,
the
that
same.
the vibrations are there.
Especially when the building is rented out to someone else.
Of course, then vibrations are there.
Yeah.
You have to tackle that part. That is also you have to
Part
install some
usage.
dampeners and all this.
Yeah.
Other materials are there to cater for all these things.
Yeah.
Then the third one you can say is due to the environmental factors like intermittent drying, wetting, where the your weather is getting changed very frequently. No.
Okay.
Just like coastal areas and all these things. जस्ट लाइक आदमी को जुकाम हो जाता है वैसे ही स्ट्रक्चर को भी हो जाता है तो उसको वी हैव टू कैटर दैट्स एट दैट टाइम दैट स्ट्रक्चर गेट्स damaged also.
Yeah.
And then these are you can say the natural factor. I'm not putting that on the.
That's fair.
And the fourth one you can say is settlements or movements, structural movements or settlements. Like earthquakes.
Yes.
Or sinking of the land, sliding of the land, which you have seen nowadays. That is happening a lot of. But
in this last rainy season itself, we saw a lot of such cases.
Even in Badrinath, Kedar, everywhere it is.
Puri roads gayab ho gayi sir. Yeah. Buildings
so, for that we are doing. It's also one of the field of our in rehabilitation that.
Yeah.
We about 2 years back we entered into this one also for doing some job in sinking zone in northeast area.
Okay.
So we are seeing the results. Might be that it can further be modified and something like that. What are our observations and all these things. So that is also one of the fields to enter in that way. And then in seismic, because that movement can be due to earthquake also. Yeah. In earthquake also, that again the codes are getting changed.
Yes.
In Bhuj earthquake, something new in India was divided in different zones.
Yeah.
That again revised, upgraded or whatever. Updated.
After Bhuj. And
some basically in India some guidelines are also there from the court and they do it and health.
Nepal earthquake ke baad bhi they came up with a few revisions in the code. Correct. And I think now there are some changes after the Turkey earthquake as well. They're proposing some new things as well.
So they are unsteady only. Basically in India the earthquake zones are being upgraded and they're updated that way. Also when I came into this business of FRPs and all these things in 2000. Unfortunately, the Bhuj earthquake came in that way. Then we did a lot of stuff because this product is very good for seismic strengthening. Even we have done I should name the for seismic strengthening, specifically for seismic strengthening in Bhuj also. Some refinery was there. For that also some telecom quarters and buildings was there. We did for that also. That was the introduction. Then we actually during those days we did lot of road shows, lot of you can say seminars, lot of lectures. And most of the government institutes they used to call us for the presentations and all these things. But you see, to introduce the new product in the market is very, very tough in India.
But it turned into a research paper.
Yeah, then so many research papers. Afterwards, after we did, there are so many others who followed us also.
आप others का मत बताइए, आप अपने वाला बताओ पहले. You tell us IIT Chennai it was, right?
Yeah.
You published a paper.
Yeah.
So from being an engineer, you became a researcher and then you published your own paper also on new tech.
Yeah.
Which is great. This is what is required in the industry today. In fact, the current government is pushing it. आप अगर देखेंगे जो current government, especially infrastructure में जो push है, anything which is new, they're saying आप European standards हैं, use करिए. American standards आप use करिए. Go for it. Push the project. Make sure it completes on time. We will give you codal provisions later. If it works globally, it will work here. Do it. And people are doing it. UHPC is one of the examples, ultra high performance concrete. Okay. It is definitely one of those examples. Sir, you were talking about cracks and you said कि cracks आ जाते हैं फिर उसके बाद वो सब problems आना शुरू होते हैं.
Then
what is, when we see a crack in the building, what should be our approach? What should we do towards it?
you have to go for the health assessment of the structure first as a good structural engineer, because when you observe it, then you have to do it, because that is the, you can say, the clinical in terms of medical
Yes.
science, that is
बिल्डिंग बीमार है,
बीमार
डॉक्टर के पास
उसके
जाओ.
उसके पर डॉक्टर के पास जाओ, उसका हेल्थ असेसमेंट करो पहले.
नहीं तो हम तो वो करते हैं ना सर, वी कॉल आवर कॉन्ट्रैक्टर.
नहीं, वो that is why I use
प्लास्टर दे दे.
I use the word ना engineering.
Common sense engineering.
Common sense engineering.
Yes, absolutely.
That is what we do.
Yeah. So self medication ना करके, we should go to the doctor. We should ask a good structural engineer to do the health assessment of our building.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you assess and how do you diagnose the health of a building? What's the philosophy that you follow? कैसे process क्या है?
Philosophy, basically it is as per IS codes.
Okay.
There are IS codes on it.
Okay.
And then there are not much tests, but some of them I'm just naming. There are two kinds of structures in industry.
Okay.
One is the RCC structure. The another one is the steel structures.
Okay.
In RCC structures, the tests which are being done, your visual inspection.
Okay.
Because as you see from your eye,
Yeah.
okay, that you do the crack mapping on the drawing, this way, this place, this much width, length, depth, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That is a part of your visual inspection. Now you have to understand what exactly is the strength of the concrete. Then we do the rebound hammer test.
Okay.
And we do the concrete core. That is little bit destructive. We take out the concrete core from the inside of the existing concrete.
Okay.
And do the compressive strength of both.
Okay.
Rebound from rebound number, from the core also.
Yeah.
And then we correlate both the values and come out with the overall, you can say, health or strength of the structure.
Yeah.
Then to know the homogeneity in the concrete, consistency in the concrete, you go for the UPVs test, ultrasonic pulse velocities.
Okay.
Which of course gives the quality of concrete only, that whether concrete quality is poor, doubtful, good, very good, or excellent. What they have certain ranges as per IS codes.
Okay.
Then sometimes we don't have the structural drawings available with us.
Yes. Many cases we don't.
In many cases we don't have. Generally in India, anywhere I will say they are lost or there's something.
It happens,
like that.
yes.
So you have to draw out some reinforcement. What is the reinforcement in the column beam? Tentative.
Yeah.
Of course, that we use the ferro scanners and all these things.
Okay.
For that.
To check the quality of the reinforcement inside it?
Diameter of the reinforcement. How
is
many
it intact
bars
or not?
Yeah. No. Intactness is there. But for in the drawings also, when we make the structural drawings, we don't have, no.
Yes. So
we have to create, we have to recreate the things, no.
Yes. Okay.
Then half cell potential test is being done to understand the probability of corrosion in the reinforcement also there. And then your chloride, sulfates, and pH also. And with the passage of time, the concrete also gets carbonated at the cover area. That also will be known. These are some of the tests which are being done. After doing these tests are some tests are the field tests also, some of the lab tests also.
Yeah.
And you have got the visual inspection report also.
Yeah.
With the combination of all these things, you will understand first of all the cause of the distresses that way. After going with these causes, then you arrive with the methodology, what can be done for strengthening the structure and all these things. And with what materials, of course.
Okay.
This is as far as your concrete is concerned.
Yeah.
If you talk in the steel structures, then steel structure basically what happens with corrosion, your section thickness may reduce and all this. That can be measured. Of course, visual inspection is there everywhere.
When you say steel structures, you mean PEB buildings, pre-engineered buildings?
Yeah, you can say PE engine, but majorly like thermal plant buildings and then industrial buildings. Old. These are all of more or less all of the steel
Yes.
structures.
Yes.
I've handled. I've seen one project where fire broke down and then all steel structures get damaged. 2-3 places.
Yeah.
2-3 projects were there. Yeah. So then you have to in that particular you have to judge the how much is the weld. Is there any voids in the weld or its continuity in the weld is there, and
Yeah.
or they do dye penetration tests, DPTs, and all these tests are there.
Okay.
And then how much is the hardness of the steel, that is also to be.
Okay.
And you can measure the tensile strength of the steel also. Take a section and do it.
Okay.
Again, then you will again diagnose the things, come out with the your approach and methodologies and all these things, materials and that thing. That way your steel structures are being done.
So why don't you think that as building owners or homeowners or even like commercial building owners, why don't you think that bent of mind is still there? कि हम कराना नहीं चाहते, हम चेक नहीं कराना चाहते, we don't want to do that and we think everything is fine. कि 50 साल लाइफ होती है, अभी 15 साल हुए हैं, why should I?
नहीं, that is really a very casual approach in India, that or anywhere in the world also. That is because क्या है कि no one want to spend money on this part. कोई इन चीज़ों पे पैसा खर्च नहीं करता, मतलब बिकॉज ये तो कुछ देने वाली तो है नहीं. बट क्या होता है कि ये स्लोली आज आप 2 महीने में अपने 2 साल में नहीं कराया, आपको नजर आया यार बड़ा छोटा सा फॉल्ट है, लेट अस कॉल सम चौक वाले को बुला लेते हैं, देन वी गेट इट डन एंड लीव इट. बट यू सी
वाटरप्रूफिंग को भी सीरियस नहीं लेते हैं.
हाँ, या
वी डोंट टेक इट सीरियसली. आज नए घर बनाने में भी वी इग्नोर इट कि बाथरूम कर देंगे, किचन कर देंगे, वी डोंट टेरेस कर देंगे मैक्सिमम. बट वो भी जो हो रहा है वो सिविल ठेकेदार को हम दे देते हैं एंड वी डोंट सुपरवाइज इट. वी डोंट आस्क अ प्रॉपर एजेंसी टू कम इन एंड चेक इट कि काम ठीक से हुआ है नहीं. इलेक्ट्रिकल वर्क्स हो सकता है फिर भी हम चेक करा लें, हो सकता है. आधे से ज्यादा लोग भरोसे पे काम करते हैं.
Basically waterproofing, what to tell you, although yeah, definitely the products are there and everything is there, but ultimately onus of responsibility for maintenance partner, that falls on him only, because
when you're living in the building.
Yeah, because you can't say that you keep water, we have done waterproofing, or the water will that particular surface will hold the water.
We can't allow water clogging in our building.
That you have to do the maintenance for.
आपने when I met you the first time, you said something very interesting to me. मैं बोल देता कैमरा पे, आज मजा आएगा. You said something to me कि बहुत पुराना तरीका है and it works. बारिश में go in your swimming suit, go there, झाड़ू लेके सारी नालियां खोल के आजा, कभी जिंदगी में प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगी building. You said something like that to me. And it's basic. It's very basic.
It's very basic. Nowadays, that feeling, I will use the word feeling, is not there in the people.
Absolutely, I understand what you mean, sir. Sir, you were talking about techniques, and then you were saying there are certain materials based on that technique. So, kuch techniques, if you can guide us, few techniques of rehabilitation of the building.
Basically, you see, there are more or less 3-4 techniques, which are in the current scenario.
Yeah.
One is simply you can jacket the things, no? You have lost the strength and everything.
Okay.
Then you will
Jacketing, yes.
put additional reinforcement over there in column, beam, slab, whatever it is, and then you jacket. But it has, every technique has got disadvantages also. Then in jacketing, what happens that nowadays the cost of the floor area is more, no?
Yes.
With jacketing, that thing, you will be losing that floor area.
Reduces your square footage.
Yeah. It's so many square foot area will be losing, and it is quite you can say time taking also.
Okay.
It's you can say intrusive also.
Okay.
Then lot of you have to do the I'm just explaining. You have to do lot of drillings in the existing structures and all these things. Putting the shear connectors, rebars, the whole as a new construction does, no? Putting the shuttering and all these things and casting it, and then and losing, of course, parallelly the floor area also.
Yeah.
In columns also, in the beam also, you will be losing the height also. Second thing is your steel plate bonding also can be done.
Okay.
The steel plate bonding, basically, you see, steel plate you cannot bend as per the surface of the member.
Okay.
Of course, in construction we try to maintain the verticality of the columns, but somewhere it may differ in millimeters. Some may differ.
Yeah.
Steel plate bonding means you have to put additional steel plate outside the concrete member, and you have to do a lot of bolting in the existing concrete. There is the disadvantage of that is that basically it is a quite very much intrusive system. Number one. Number two, its weight. Its weight is quite heavy.
Yeah.
If you have to put steel plate on the beams and all these things, it's very, very difficult or very cumbersome.
Yes.
That way you
It's heavy.
Heavy. And thirdly, you see, because of it cannot be bent and so easily. There are gaps between the existing concrete surface and with the steel plate, because whatever the system you use for strengthening all it should act as a composite with the old concrete member.
Yes.
So that gap again has to be filled up with some other materials, and you don't have any confirmation that how much it has been filled up, and that also a challenge in that.
Yeah.
Third, very old system was the pressure guniting. The very old system. It was earlier it used to be, but nowadays the people are avoiding it. But basically, in guniting, it is being done with the pressure only. That basically the pressure, proper pressure is to be maintained in guniting.
Okay.
Otherwise, that bonding it will get delaminated after as per my experience.
Yeah.
Might be some professionals may say it is right. I don't deny with that. What I saw is that some cracks have developed already in some gunited surface. I have seen it and have again retrofitted it, not with guniting, the other materials.
Yeah.
Then it has delaminated from the original concrete surface, developing cracks and all these things.
Wow.
So these are certain, because that depends certain pressure and all these things.
Yeah.
That there's a guniting, and then the advance is as I told you, the FRP system, fiber reinforced system. It is non-intrusive, lightweight, and but it has also got certain limitations. I don't say that every system has got the magic stick with them and will do everything. It's not like that. But as a good structural engineer, as a good engineer, we have to reconcile the theory and our experiences. And these are the techniques whenever we are doing for certain project or some that way. We should try that it is the holistically, if the 4 systems can be used, 2 can be used, 3 can be used, we should do it like that.
And all those systems with the existing structure should harmonize
and
together in a proper way.
In terms of, you say, durability, in terms of the in India, because of the cost effectiveness also, we have to see that way also.
Sir, जब हमने नई बिल्डिंग बनाई है, उसकी डिजाइन लाइफ about 50 years रहती है. घर की बात करें तो when we do the retrofitting of a building, does it give the building as much strength or more strength that we are actually aiming for?
As I told you, basically, आप strength को upgrade भी कर सकते हो, because now why I am telling you upgradation वाली बात, एक तो live load का change in live load तो हो गया. The second thing which comes is that nowadays the FRP is getting increased. If you have to add up some floors over your due to additional FR, then you can strengthen your lower columns. And we have done some projects in those lines also. So that you can do that way also.
This is actually a very important giveaway that you've just shared, because people are doing this. और वो बिना consult किए एक floor डाल देते हैं ऊपर.
That will they will suffer later on.
Yeah, so
they may suffer.
It comes from लोगों को basically लोगों को इतनी awareness नहीं है. I don't think it's anybody to blame. People don't realize that this can be done. They just do it because everybody is doing it. तो कई बार ये भी गड़बड़ हो जाता है.
One has to be the leader in it.
Yeah, somebody has to think rationally.
Think of it otherwise.
You're right. Sound advice चाहिए. You need a good sound in your ear to actually think like that.
One has to be the leader in it.
Absolutely. Sir, I've heard something called rebarring.
Yeah.
What is rebarring? होता क्या है? क्या करते हैं उसमें?
As I told you that one of the technique, it is only a very small part of one of the technique which I told you, the jacketing, no?
Yes.
So in jacketing, you are putting additional reinforcement.
Yeah.
Just like if you consider one column, you are putting additional main reinforcement outside. Number one, so that is to be rebarred with the original concrete surface. Now there are certain chemicals available in the market that because what happens in our designs, you have to provide certain development length of the bond length to the steel reinforcement.
जो हम injections और वो सब use करते हैं बाद में, just for it to bond to the
because they have got equivalent value of the development when you pull it out and you do the pull-off test.
Yes.
So that is your simple rebarring.
Okay. People have asked me, do you know somebody who does rebarring? And I've never understood it, so I really don't know.
So basically you are rebarring in that.
That clears it up. Great. Budget and cost estimation, sir. Aaj, if somebody thinks about rehabilitation of their building, mota-moti. I'm not asking. Of course, every project is different.
And before talking of the budget and all these things, the thing is that there are two things in it.
Okay.
First of all, one has to think whether one can demolish it and do the new construction.
Oh yes.
First thing is everyone in here will think, यार इसकी cost तो ज़्यादा आ रहा है, इससे अच्छा तोड़ के बना लो. बड़ा clear है.
Fair enough. बिल्कुल ठीक है sir.
Number two is that no one thinks of the indirect expenses which are likely to occur in an existing building और जो building तोड़ के भी बनाता है. You see, when you think of demolition, when I talk of the indirect expenses, is that a building which has been created about, say, 30 years back, 40 years back, that was with certain other local bodies laws.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you start thinking of that, thinking we will demolish it and we will reconstruct it, definitely the bylaws day by day are getting stringent.
Yeah.
Okay. Then he will have to take the approval for that particular thing. Okay. That will take some time also. Demolition, taking approval, making it. If it is a running building, you see, then definitely that particular living persons or working persons in commercial building, then they have to be shifted to some alternate place.
Absolutely. That's another cost.
That cost is very high.
Yes.
And if that particular project is going to be completed, say 5-6 years, so that your cost escalation and all these things will happen.
Absolutely.
So these are certain things which no one thinks of it when you talk of course, rehabilitation cost comes that way. It is not, you can say, a very small amount.
Yeah. It is a significant value.
It is a significant value. It occurs, but you can say normally 20%, 30%, that way.
20-30% of your current
variations.
Current construction value, 20-30% of your project value, of your property value.
Not property value.
So 20-30% compared to the entire new build.
More, or other methods or traditional methods, whatever they think, or which may not be so much durable and all this. So it will be something.
So 20-30% cost to reliven your building in a way and give it a whole new life. I don't think it's a huge number.
That compared to that indirect cost also, which no one thinks of it.
So no, you can't account for it. You can't account for time value of money. You really can't account for inflation. Abhi COVID mein kya hua? COVID mein, the prices before COVID, you look at steel. It was at, let's say, local steel was at 40. Primary steel was at, let's say, 50-55 rupees. Today, primary steel has stabilized at 75 rupees. Local steel is at somewhere around 58-59 rupees. And it touched 100 and came back. So, right after COVID, nobody could account for that. You don't know the uncertain factors. So, those intangibles are sometimes way higher than you actually go out planning for. Great. So, that actually answered the question that I asked you about budgeting and cost estimations. What advice would you give to property owners or investors who are considering getting the rehabilitation for their building or retrofitting for their building?
If you see initially when I told you that first of all, why this should come.
Why is necessity is
Then
absolutely clear.
if they do some proper maintenance and all these things and maintain the good quality of concrete supervision, so that it will definitely will not come.
Yeah.
Of course. Then afterwards, you see, when you use a structure, then definitely somewhere I will not say there is it's 100% waterproof and something like that.
Yeah.
Some other changes, some deficiencies must have occurred during the construction stages.
Yes.
So then it always your structure gives us some warning signals. So it will show some cracks and all these things in this way.
Yeah. वो खांसी जुकाम जो आपने बोला
वो दिखाएगा. Then definitely you go for the its testing.
Okay.
And for builders and this actually the local bodies and the authorities, they should make it mandatory rather that you have to get it certified with health assessment, say after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years.
I think there is a law that is being passed now about it, isn't it? I think I read something in the paper that there is a bill in motion that they're saying that the health checkup of a building should happen over a certain regularity of time.
If it is, I have not.
I think I recently
if
read
it is, it's a very good sign if it
so
happens.
ये Turkey के बाद हुआ है.
If it happens,
so they're discussing it, or they've already moved forward with the motion. I'm not sure, but something is coming around in that direction.
That will definitely, if they pass a law, it has to come to the local bodies and all this, for the different states and all this.
तो execution तो उन्हीं के through होगी. For example, Delhi में MCD है या
MCD has अभी शुरुआत करी है इन्होंने structural audits वगैरह की, but वो होता क्या है कि कनॉट प्लेस में कभी गिरा, स्लैब गिरा तो फिर एक समय एक्टिव हो जाते हैं, कभी कहीं हुआ तो एक्टिव हो जाते हैं, तो फिर
we can't be passive like this in the middle and something happens then we become active. वो नहीं कर सकते हम. We have to be vigilant.
हाँ, vigilant रहना पड़ेगा. क्योंकि आप basically थोड़ा तो मान करना पड़ेगा. Mandatory बनाओगे तो तभी वो होगा.
नहीं, but this is started in cooperative housing. तो आप you look at old buildings जो DDA ने बनाए हुए हैं, flats and apartments. I'm pretty sure the RWAs are getting involved now. At least ये movement मैं पिछले 6 महीने से तो notice कर रहा हूँ.
नहीं, we have, yes, of course, but that I will say that yearly maintenance, 2 years, that has not come yet. No?
That has not come. Regular maintenance.
We'll
maintain our cars. We'll maintain our everything. हम झाड़ू मरवा देंगे डेली घर में, but हम अपने structure को थोड़ा सा ध्यान नहीं देते.
No one pays attention.
Definitely something that is
unless until it reaches
missing.
to that stage that
it
requires major.
I know what you mean.
Major work.
So जब कैंसर हो जाएगा जब देखेंगे.
कैंसर जब फैलेगा पूरी तरह, जब वो थर्ड स्टेज में पहुंचेगा तो वो उसको लगेगा आप करो इसको. अब पैसा जब खर्च होता है, then
अब एक ही बार में पूरा करा दो, घर खाली करके क्या
money which is going to be spent with that definitely will hit to the heart. यार नहीं करना चाहिए, पैसा नहीं लगाएं, ये क्यों हो रहा है.
बिल्कुल उस टाइम तो बहुत huge cost हो जाती है सर वो. You mentioned materials because we were talking about techniques. So what all kind of materials can we use, and especially new age ones, or what all is available in the market that can be used in rehabilitation of the buildings? Construction
material, basically you see here only I will specify only majorly or 7-8 which are being used in industry.
Okay.
One is the your bonding agent. So bonding agent basically is cement based also, it is epoxy based also. That is a layer which is applied on the old concrete surface.
Yeah.
To join with the new
concrete, yes.
Which is a part of the standing part that way.
Yes.
That is there, and before that, if it is you see the concrete has spoiled and there definitely lumps will come. You will see the corroded reinforcement and all these things. You have to use the corrosion remover, something using
you remove the corrosion first, yes,
and then you have to apply corrosion inhibitor also. Nowadays we are using that so that the further corrosion.
Yes.
And third thing has also come nowadays is the sacrificial anodes also.
Sacrificial anodes?
Anodes also.
Expensive होगा सर वो तो.
It is quite expensive.
ये वही है ना कि you charge an anode through.
No, it's basically cathode anode principles.
वही है ना. So you basically एक तरीके से you're plating the steel again.
They are zinc
से कर देते हैं.
Zinc made only, and then they attract the all corrosion with them, and it doesn't allow to spread all over the
Yes.
thing.
Removes the rust,
Yeah,
adds zinc onto the surface, and then
yeah.
it's plated.
Yeah. That is also we are doing with that projects also.
It's happening in India?
Yeah. We have
Wow.
started using it. Then here comes the micro concrete, something like
Micro
before
concrete,
that.
yes.
Before that, you use the word of the rebarring.
Rebarring, yes.
So for that, we can use that epoxy and all that things for rebarring.
Epoxy coating on the...
Not drilling the hole, putting the bar and that epoxy is
using the injections and everything.
All these things. So then for the main bar also, for shear connectors also.
Yeah.
Then it afterwards, of course, you can use the micro concrete. It's a high strength because it's a quality maintained. It's a pre-packed.
Yes.
High strength, self-flowable concrete.
Yes.
Then it has got a compressive strength of around 50.
Yeah.
In 50 to 60 MPa, something like that, with different manufacturers of this.
Yes.
That you can attain with that. Because then in such kind of repair retrofitting, it is not a massive concreting.
Yeah.
You see, RMC you cannot bring. It's only with the bags and get it. You have
Small quantities
to maintain water powder VWP ratio, water powder ratio, and put it in the.
Yeah.
So like that is the micro concrete, and for that patch repair. Also nowadays high strength pre-packed repair mortar also have come.
Yeah.
Then you can use that one. They give the compressive strength of at least 20, 25 to 30 MPa. They can give you like that. And with that, I think these are certain components. Of course, FRP is a different which I discussed. It comes in GFRP also, glass fiber reinforced polymer. And CFRP also, carbon fibers. And it's a different subject totally, which can be.
Any IS codes or regulations or standards in India regarding rehabilitation?
As far as you are saying the IS codes, the material, we have got the codes for these materials.
Yeah.
For some Indians also, we follow some international codes also, British, European or American.
Yeah.
And for this year, specifically, I remember about 15 years back, one manual was generated with CPWD in India. That was specifically for R&R, repair and rehabilitation manual.
Okay.
It came with the name like that.
Nice.
And it was written by one of my colleague from Delhi College of Engineering. Who was in CPWD during those days. It's a good manual.
Yeah.
Actually, that specified a lot of repair and retrofitting items over there.
Okay.
That number of items are there that way.
So basically, that gives us
some sort of guidance and ideas.
Some sort of a rule book there.
But still, I will again come to that thing. Although he has given a very good thing, but it is still depends on the structural engineers.
Yes.
So to just create or while preparing the BOQs and bill of quantities and all these things, he must consider the items to be created as per the site realities.
Yes.
It should not be in a theoretical way.
Yeah.
Because the thing which cannot happen at site should not be mentioned in the items also. But of course, it should be as per the general or specialized engineering practices.
Yes.
That of course.
I think this leads to mindfulness. जो आप कह रहे हो ना, ये थोड़ा सा mindfulness missing है. I've seen BOQs being repeated for the sake of being repeated.
That is not. Basically, you see every I tell you, it's just like I tell you as a human being also. Every structure has got different unique problems with it. It's not one structure is like that, the other will be like that. Not like that. You have to customize the designs for that particular structure. You have to customize the BOQ also, bill of quantities or specification as per the structure.
ऐसा भी हो सकता है दो बिल्डिंग आसपास हो, अगल-बगल हो, उनके भी फीचर्स अलग-अलग हो सकते हैं.
It can.
That's absolutely true, sir. Makes sense. Rehabilitation of a modern building versus rehabilitation of a monumental building.
You say, I tell you, monumental
approach क्या है?
I did 3-4 monumental projects also.
Awesome. Yeah.
Actually, if you talk, I just giving some reference. I will talk with some reference only.
Please, yes.
If you talk of the Luton's bungalow in New Delhi part, no? Okay.
Yeah, Lutyens.
They have become the heritage structures.
Yes.
Okay. And they cannot be demolished, or you have to maintain the because all are old structures.
Yeah.
And very thick wall.
Yeah.
Say 2 feet wall, somewhere 1.5 feet wall, and and now at present scenario, those walls thinks to be that it is again taking lot of space.
Yeah.
As I told you,
Yes,
the
up to
value
floor
of the,
space
it is nowadays the value of the floor space only.
Yeah.
That kind of structures, again, you have to use your engineering only. Because old structures which we find nowadays, before in independence area, when New Delhi was coming up, and that time, that was some sort of RBC, reinforced brick concrete, used to be there.
Yeah.
If you see the Connaught Place structure, slabs and all this, it is made up of that thing. And then, of course, the thickness is more. You have to do the engineering on that. You can reduce that thickness also of the wall from inside, and you can create the inner side larger sizes of the rooms as per the internal architecture, but without disturbing the external elevation. But that, I think, any local body should pass the things for that modification. That can be done.
Yeah.
Then comes again the question of because these kind of structures are during those days, but cement was not used. Lime, surkis, and all these people, all this material was used. Then you can do we generally do because inside the mortar remains the voids and all these things. It is not, there is a doubt in integrity of the bonding, no, between the members.
Yes.
Then that can be grouted with cement grouting and all these things. I forgot to tell you, one of the material is the grouting materials also.
Grouting, yes.
So that is cement grouting is being done. Epoxy grouting is also being done to just maintain the homogeneity in the concrete surface. That can be done here also this way. And then again, it is to be again designed in engineered way that you can remove certain portion of the wall, reduce the thicknesses, and create some steel members, and then it's all can be done. Amazing. And you can strengthen the for seismic retrofitting can be done. We have done it.
Nice.
That is also. And one project, I will not name it, but
कर दो सर, नाम बता दो आप.
Yeah, it is published paper in
then you should.
It's the Falaknuma Palace, Hyderabad.
जी.
It's a very about 200-250 years old structure. So on that we have written paper also. It is published in, I don't remember the name of the magazine. Yeah. So there we have strengthened it using FRPs only.
Nice.
So that we did. Some other monuments also. President House has been retrofitted. All these techniques.
It's a huge field.
It's a very, very huge field. I tell you.
2 साल लग जाएंगे मुझे पूरा रेट्रोफिटिंग समझने में. आई थिंक अगर मैं इंजीनियरिंग डिग्री की तरह इसको पढ़ाई कर लूँ तो you're right कि इसको कहीं ना कहीं स्पेशलाइजेशन MS में एमटेक में मिल जानी चाहिए.
It should be.
Amazing.
Should be. But internationally also I found it is
still not there.
It is still missing. Somewhere I have heard it is there, but somewhere it is not. But very, very at 2-3 places it is there, but not.
Awesome. Last question to you, sir. For aspiring structural engineers, what skills, what knowledge do you think are particularly important for them to focus on today? अगर उनको building rehabilitation में अपना career बनाना है तो what should they focus on? पढ़ाई करते हुए आज.
पढ़ाई करते हुए तो basic I tell you, whatever the first of all the concepts of engineering should be very clear.
Okay.
Because that is to be followed everywhere, in anywhere and any type of structures.
Yeah.
You see, that is more important, and they should be more conversant with the materials, about retrofitting materials and all these things, they should understand that thing. And I will advise, if some has to go for in this field retrofitting, then in our engineering courses they give the trainings of in 2 semesters, no, some 3 months, some 2 months
summer trainings.
So then I think better that they should take training in some retrofitting and rehabilitation.
Train with somebody who does
so
rehabilitation.
that will open up their mind. They will that will give the feel of the things, no. That is more important to understand. So that is, I think, I will say that way. Otherwise, it's itself, retrofitting itself is a field.
Huge field.
Huge field.
वो मुझे लगता है वो स्ट्रक्चर आपको अलग से एक पूरा का पूरा इंजीनियरिंग का होना चाहिए.
Nowadays, I
should
think
become a specialization.
It can be a specialization subject
100%
in terms of in while in MTech also.
Yeah.
So that will open up further minds to those people.
Sir, thank you so much for your time and your patience with us today. If you have any questions for Vineet sir, please write to me at buildmatepodcast@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram and follow me there at BuildMatePodcast. Thank you for watching in. Have a great day.